Hello, friends, and welcome to 10 Points Under, where the best format to play is one where you can get rid of your own Isamu. This is Big a Bullfrog, and joining me today for the first time is someone who I'm super excited to be talking Heroscape with. Someone who's been on a really hot online Heroscape win streak lately, doing really well. You've probably if you've been paying attention to the videos lately, you've probably heard of him. Also was on Casters on Valhalla recently and had some really good discussion there, which plug for Casters of Valhalla. Go check it out. It's going a lot of good stuff. And on that was Boromir96. Welcome, Boromir.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you. I'm really excited. I've actually been hoping that you'd sign up to cast with me for a little while now, just since been watching your games. You got good game sense. I'm excited to see what your take on it is.
Yeah, I've been trying to fit it in for a little while. It seems like our schedules don't always line up super well, but I'm glad I can make it work.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, schedules are schedules. But yeah, so this game is actually from let's see, a recent tournament. This is Online Heroscape Season 40, and the winner of this tournament was Boromir. So he's gonna have some really good points.
Spoiler.
Spoiler for the end. Not spoiler for this game, fortunately, but he'll have some good points for us. He's basically the authority on this tournament as far as we're concerned.
Sure, on this format. As far as I know, this is it's a pretty unique format. I don't think they've ever run it before. So
yeah, the specific bring your own glyph as well as reverse draft. I think it's their first time doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, reverse draft is complicated enough, honestly, without throwing crazy glyphs into it.
Yeah, exactly. And actually going into this, let's see. So let's introduce the armies and the glyphs really quick, and then I'd love to hear your take on them because there were a ton of crazy glyph combinations, and we've got some here. So we've got our two players are Captain Stupendous, and he'll be up here on the top, and down here we've got Coach Muskie. This was a reverse draft, which means that they basically backwards draft it. So you'll bring your two armies, and then you bid down an army, basically trying to get them to a more equal power level, which it like Boromir said, it's a little involved. It's kind of complicated. If you want to see how this is done, I do have another video on my channel, and I'll put it in the description, and you can see an example draft of how that can happen. But I'm not gonna go too into detail right now, just because of for those who aren't as interested. Well, we'll get to the gameplay a little bit faster, but just so that you know, there is a lot of decision making before the game happens, where basically one army gets undercut in order to have the two armies be more equal in power level. So the army down here that Coach Muskie has, and that'll be Brian in the chat when you see Brian, that's Coach Muskie. So we've got 2 squads of Einar Imperium, 3 squads of the 20th Main Volunteers, a C3V unit that you can check out, as well as General Simon Fraser, who helps soldiers. And we've got Marco Essenwein as well as Guilty McCreech. So that's army number 1, and this one is full strength. The army up top was bid down, so it was originally 5 squads of Horned Skull Brutes and Isamu. Isamu was also dropped from the army. But what Captain Stupendous was left with was 3 squads of Horned Skull Brutes plus 1, so 10 total Brutes. So they dropped 5 Brutes, Isamu, and now they have 10 Brutes, Major Q10, and Marco Essenwein again. And then it was also a bring your own glyph format. So, and I'm trying to remember who brought what. Let me double check really quick so that
I'm assuming Thorian was with the Einar Imperium.
That would be my guess. Yeah. Yep, that's correct. So Coach Muskie brought the actually, this is actually Captain Stupendous's army. Coach Muskie ended up with it, but it's Stupendous's army. But yeah, so this army brought the Thorian glyph, which is, if you're on it, you're basically Sergeant. All your figures are Sergeant Drake. They can't be hit by normal ranged attacks. And this army brought the healer treasure glyph, which is after revealing an order marker on a hero that has the glyph, you may remove 3 wounds from that hero. So a pretty cool matchup. I like the armies, and the glyphs will play into that a lot.
Yeah, the healer glyph especially. Like Thorian doesn't do much for really either army. I don't. It'll do more for the brutes, but they're not even set up on that side of the map.
Mm-hmm.
I think the healer one is the more important one for that army. You're basically doubling up Q10's lives,
Mm-hmm.
and Q10 has great matchups into I think both the Imperium and the 20th main, and they have no like Thorian isn't going to help them at all against those specials. So I don't think that one will maybe be taken.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Because yeah, I think this army really wants to take advantage of Thorian as much as possible, and I mean, since it doesn't really work into Q10, I'm probably why they dropped 5 of those horned skull brutes at the beginning. And yeah, like you said, I think it would have been interesting. Well, no, I definitely think this is right because, like you said, healer definitely basically doubles Q10's life, and there's just not the manpower to try to hold Thorian. It would be great, I'm sure, against the 20th main, but I mean they just have the numbers where they could contest it a lot more easily than this army could, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I do wonder like if his strategy going into it, if he's kind of planning on using the brutes as a screen for Q10. It like the way he's set up would maybe indicate that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it may have also been a viable strategy to split the brutes on the Thorian side and Q10 on the healer side, and that way you have the brutes have great matchups with Thorian into the 20th, then you kind of rely on Q10 to take out the Imperium.
That would make sense too. Yeah, I could see that because horned skull brutes can definitely hold their own. I don't know. Actually, that was another question I was gonna ask you before we jumped into it because I'm curious as to your thoughts. I guess first off, have you played with the horned skull brutes a ton?
I'm not very experienced with them.
Oh,
It's been a few years since I played with them.
nice. They're
Seems
fun. They're
like they look really good on paper, and then the four defense just doesn't seem to hold up enough with a 3-man squad that doesn't have a whole lot of other tricks.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, hey, no, they've got all the tricks. Barge into battle is legit, probably my favorite power in the game, just because of I don't. I just think it's fun, but
Yeah,
it's.
it's really cool when it works. It does help their development a little bit if
Mhm,
you can move one 8 spaces from your start zone and get them engaged and basically develop for free. It just doesn't always happen enough to really let them compete more like a
exactly.
4-man squad.
Yeah, yeah, and that is where they do have a bit of a downfall. Although I will say, and I've just got to plug this because I've just got to plug this. But if you're ever playing, this could work. So it probably works solo. But I've really got to plug. If you're ever playing a team game, a nice little 2v2, have your teammate bring Phantom Knights and you bring Hornskull Brutes, or vice versa, because they work with friendly figures, and so you can get your Phantom Knights right up into the action, and then swap them with the Hornskull Brutes, and that is the most fun I have ever had at a team game tournament that we had here in Utah. Is me and my buddy bringing Hornskull Brutes and Phantom Knights.
Yeah, that's a really cool combo.
It's so much fun, and yeah, just fun, just good, healthy fun. But yeah, so I'm interested to see how these get played. 20th main, I don't know if I've seen them played. I've never really watched a game that they were played in, but I've known of games that they were played in. So it'll be interesting to see how they play as well.
Yeah, I've only played a game or two with them. I think their best is a as a portion of an army, which is kind of how they or should be used here with this army.
Mm-hmm.
Tricky to get the order marker, the hold grind to work out when you need it to.
Exactly. Yeah, that's where they really struggle. But yeah, let's go ahead and hop into the game, and we'll see how they decide to develop it out. See, Q10, Brutes, Main, Einar.
Yeah, so it looks like going heavy Q10 and main, which is I think not your best matchup if you're Coach Muskie.
I agree.
I
Yeah.
think once Q10 gets up on the level 3, I think the 20th main are going to have a really hard time ever getting more than 2 die attacks, especially with losing initiative. That's really tough.
Yeah, exactly. So and like the 20th main, so for those who don't know much about the 20th main, which I'm guessing is going to be many people watching, because they don't get played a ton. Not that they're the worst thing ever, but they're not that great. They do have 2 defense, they have 2 attack, they have the potential to boost their defense by 2 when they've only got 1 unrevealed order marker on their card, and they've got the potential to boost their attack even more when they're making a melee hide attack. But yeah, um, going into like if it's main versus Q10, machine pistol looks really really nice.
Yeah, lots of attacks at 2v3s, and then the other way you're just taking 2v5s, and the
Mm-hmm.
healer glyph is sitting there. Although at some point, if you do go down to get it, then you're giving them the potential for a couple 4 dice attacks if they can hop on those ladders around it.
Yeah, that's true. So it'll be a I'd imagine a little bit of skirmishing. Let's see, not certain about this kind of quick movement here for Muskie. I think I'd rather. I guess basically, if I know my first round matchup is going to be Q10 and 20th, I want to try to pull Q10 as close to my start zone as possible, so that next round I can go into Imperium with Fraser boosting their move to get them adjacent to Q10 and hopefully
Yeah,
take them out
that
quick.
would be ideal if you can get him close enough. It's just gonna be tough because he's probably mostly taking the machine pistol shots.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think he has a whole lot of incentive to let himself be pulled in. He doesn't really need the 4v2s very often. Although I think, no, on their next order marker they'll have the +2 defense. So this order marker, he's for sure fine staying back.
Yeah, I mean 7 range machine pistol into this matchup is so nice. Actually, I've got to ask this too because I don't remember exactly. I just remember that the discussion happened, but I did listen to that Casters of Valhalla episode that you were on
Huh?
last, like earlier this week, and I don't remember. Were you saying Q10 is over or underrated, or either or?
Um, I don't know that I had much of an opinion on Q10. I think he is. Some people think that Cayman is always the better choice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, some people say that straight up they would take Cayman even if they were priced the same. They think the Counter Strike is better,
Mm-hmm.
which into certain matchups it can be. But I think that Q10 has a lot more versatility with the machine pistol. So going into, especially, it gives them really good matchups against like 10th Regiment, where you
Yeah.
can take a lot of long range 2v2s and make them almost never get their weight than fire bonus. So I think that's something that Cayman just doesn't offer you.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like the machine pistol, and I was gonna say into specifically the 20th main machine pistol is a game changer.
Yeah, it looks like he's debating really hard whether or not to take the machine pistol or the wrist rockets.
Yeah,
He's kind of
because
flipping back and forth there.
all right, looks like those wrist rockets, which also makes sense if you can get the positioning. And I mean, this guy's got the jungle, so it'll be nice to have the 4. Doesn't go through though.
Yeah, so 1 kill. I think I would have gone with the machine pistol. I think you probably average 2 kills, and there's a third one that he could have reached. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think if I'm like, if machine or sorry, if wrist rocket is like kind of dubious on the second kill, and machine pistol will probably get me the same amount of kills anyway, but has the potential for more, I'm probably usually going machine pistol. Not that that's a super common scenario where you're going into a squad just right for that to happen, but
Oh, there's a big attack.
yeah.
But he rolled too many dice.
Oh, I think let's see. Yeah, he was probably
I
thinking.
wonder if he misread that. I originally misread that too. I thought it was the same as sighting,
Mhm.
where they didn't have to be
Which would have been
engaged.
super. But there you go.
But he is getting at least 2 heighted attacks for now. But the problem is once Q10 clears out 1 or 2 of those, it's gonna take quite a while for any other 20th to get back to those positions.
Right.
Order marker 3 on brutes though.
Yeah, I wasn't really expecting that. Although I think it worked out fine because this is the part where the 20th do actually have the +2 defense for hold
Yeah,
ground.
it's pretty decent timing for it.
Mm-hmm.
Much with your attacks anyway.
And get some of that sweet bugbear development up in there. Which actually also makes me, let's see. Do you remember if Muskie's third was, I know one was on 20th, was the other one on
Third
Imperium?
was Imperium, yes.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
So they could potentially have an order marker, but they're not close enough to do anything with it.
Yeah. Just short. Which is good map awareness from Captain Stupendous.
Yeah,
He's
I
really
would
gonna
have
want to watch that.
maybe liked an early order marker on them. You could put 1 or 2 next to a jungle bush or behind a ruin, just to kind of threaten with them a little more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Fraser's range on that aura, isn't it
I
6?
think it's 6. Yes, it's huge. A lot of
Yeah.
times he doesn't even need to move.
Yeah, so 6 +2 if they end adjacent, so and then the Imperium have
And it is on the Imperium.
oh nice. So yeah, I do like that. I think either now or earlier, whenever. I don't necessarily 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Heck, you could just like group them right here behind that ruin to jump over.
They have a
6,
base
7. Oh wait.
5 though, don't they?
Oh okay. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You could put one right here to.
Yeah, he can't get there in 1 turn though.
Oh, that's right because they don't always get the. Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
We're working with a lot of figures that it's been a while since
Yeah.
I've seen them in action. The Q10 and Bugbears, I got that all day. That's my bread and butter right there. The Imperium 20th Fraser combo. I've known of it for a while.
Yeah, it was popular in this tournament. There were a couple guys playing that, and it's can be scary for sure.
Yeah, I like that Fraser is kind of blasted onto the scene and with a few different like I think he's always with Imperium, but you've got like the 20th here. Wasn't Super Frog running ants with him too?
Ants, yep, ants. The
Yeah.
red ants are soldiers.
You could run them with your airborne elite, get them 6 move if they engage. What's better than that?
Engage in grenade. I think I would have liked him to keep maybe those other 2 Imperium next to the jungle bush.
Yeah, that would
They
have been.
they could have stayed next to that bush and still been able to engage Q10 with the 7 move.
Yeah, that's true. And plus with the special
And
attack.
it's not like you're worried about him taking a heighted attack on you.
Mm-hmm.
Special. So
Heck, you'd love for him to use the height advantage and use his normal
yeah,
attack.
if he just settles for killing 1, I think you're okay with that. And even that's just a 5v4, which isn't terrible.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. So we do have a potential for an initiative switch here.
Yeah, that'd be I think really nice for Brian here.
Yeah. I mean, potentially game changing if he just zips over and takes out. Very possible with 6 attacks of 3 to take out Q10 in one go.
Yeah, that could definitely happen.
I don't know how
And
likely,
if you get
but
3 engaged with them, you kind of make it to where you can't run for the treasure glyph either.
mm-hmm.
And yeah, it looks
That's
like he's going
yep.
all Einar and a good roll.
Brutes Q10. All right, let's see. Triumph Brutes. Yep.
Yeah, that is interesting. With them being so close to his start zone, like he should be able to develop more up using barge.
Mm-hmm. Which is so nice. I love being able to develop and attack at the same time.
Yeah, and I wonder, uh, with his order markers being on brutes, I think I probably would have dropped one on that level 3 road and took an
Oh yeah.
attack down. I took both those attacks down on the brutes with the majority of the order markers being there. I don't know. He may have won on Q10. I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
That's true. Yeah, no, that's a good point because usually people won't bluff their first order marker as the lone one on a card, but that would be a good bluff if you did it. But if you play into the how people normally will play, I think I definitely agree putting an Imperium here so that you can get some brute kills.
Yeah, and you block them off from some of them from getting even ground or.
Mm-hmm. And also like the
So, a lot of
4v4s
good
are
rolls,
nice, but yeah.
but a lot of good shield rolls too.
Yep,
That's
solid on
rough.
both sides.
Yeah, order marker one on brutes. So he can only attack 2 out of the 3 at least.
Mm-hmm.
But 4v3s, you're probably expecting 2 dead, and then you don't have a third Imperium that can do anything on your next turn.
Yeah. Yeah, more and more I'm wishing he attacked those brutes with some. I mean, that would have only been 2 brutes, but I mean, like you were saying, it helps the or avoid some even ground attacks. Yeah, that's pretty solid.
Ooh. Yeah, so 2 dead there. That's probably what you're expecting, but it's not ideal.
Yeah, and now, like, how does Muskie respond to that? Like, yeah, he's just got to develop.
He has to develop 2. He'll take the 2 attacks. I think you could make the argument for either attacks on Q10 or brutes.
Mm-hmm. At this point, since you've only got the one there,
Yeah.
looks like going for Q10 and still
Yeah.
not working.
No, it's not working out well. The main at least have a chance. Into brutes, they really hardly don't into Q10. So I understand why that's where he's focusing his attacks. But it would be nice just to get some kills at the same time.
Right. I mean, especially with only 10 brutes. The one big advantage that Muskie has going in here is the numbers advantage, and if he could, like, if he's trading one figure for one figure, then he'll be sitting pretty happy. Of course, that'll be hard to trade one figure for Q10, but on the whole, he should be, or I think he would be okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
But just it's not that his attacks have been bad, but the defense has also been really good.
So there's a nice barge set up.
Yeah, barge into that battle. Or not. Okay, fine. Okay, see if I care.
Apparently, not everyone's excited about that ability as you are. I think to some extent, you just have to do it because you can do it.
I mean, right? Yeah, it's the swagger. It's also psychological. It's well, not even psychological. It's just scientific. If you barge, you've got a better chance of rolling skulls.
That was actually almost a good. Muskie's probably glad that one main did die. It gives him a nice spot for that Imperium there.
That's true.
Couple heighted attacks.
All right, and a little bit less excited now.
Yeah, that's Unfortunate. And then less than
There
optimal
we
attack
go.
rolls. Yeah, you're definitely hoping for better than that.
Mm-hmm. I'm really starting to feel it for Muskie there. Especially after those ones. Let's see, because, yeah, that was his first wound inflicted.
Yeah, and he's rolled a lot of attacks
Mm-hmm.
already. He's probably rolled more attack dice than Luke has to this point, but not much to show for it.
There we go. There's the barge. There's that sweet, sweet barge.
There's a
But
good
yeah,
block.
or sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying it's a good block.
Yeah. Oof.
Put some, only 2 left. He'll get a couple nice attacks this turn though, assuming that's where his order marker is.
Let's see. I mean, I'd guess so, and hopefully, like he could get 4 attacks of 4.
Yeah.
And I mean, it could turn on a dime. That could easily, like 4v4s. It's not, I guess that's kind of where it's like, you're expecting to kill most of the time with 4v4s.
Yeah, you'd probably expect 2 kills, maybe 3. Oh, except we weren't
Oh,
paying
that's right.
attention. That was
It's initiative.
end around. But
Hey, he pulls it.
again,
Sweet.
it all worked out. We knew what we were talking about.
Yeah, yeah. It's taking a little peek into the future. It's fine. So let's see. Two order markers on Imperium is interesting.
Yeah, I'm assuming the Fraser isn't real. So that seems bold.
Mm-hmm.
Although I don't know, maybe the thinking is you're not getting a whole lot from the main anyway. At this
Right.
point, they're attacking uphill almost everywhere. You do have that one on the left side of the map there that's in a decent spot, but
Yeah, so that'd be fine. But yeah, I agree. I like it. It's kind of risky to go 2 on Imperium, but like at the same time, if they get killed and you do lose the order marker, like that sucks. But also, he's probably just going to develop more brutes, and you can't really
yeah,
take advantage of that at this point anyway. So I think it's it'd suck if it doesn't work out, but also it's probably at this point where he needs the swing. I think it's a fine risk.
that's fair.
Let's see, going up. Wait, hang on. Why not develop in Barge?
No, I'm curious if he isn't quite sure how that works.
Maybe.
Could have developed 2 there for free.
Mm-hmm. Which would have been great to just keep that momentum building.
Mm-hmm.
All right, last Imperium. This is the one that wins the game.
Not with those skulls and those shields. Jeez.
They have not been loving this height bonus that Muskie has worked really hard to
Yeah,
give them.
they've been in a lot of good spots. And
All right, so 2, 3. So he did kill 4 brutes, which means Luke's down to 6,
but yeah,
which is almost manageable for the 20th. But then you've also got Q10 on top of that.
and that maybe Marsu can get a big attack roll on Q10.
True.
That's probably your best shot, honestly. And one of them might actually get their downhill bonus.
Mm-hmm.
For there. Where were did Luke have more than one order marker on Q10?
I don't believe so. I think it was 3 on the brutes.
Yeah, I wonder if I would have left the one on the left there a space back on the level 3 somewhere you can still get an attack down on a brute, but you'd be at least keeping that one safe.
Oh, so over here.
Yes, just somewhere where that brute on the road in the center can't engage him.
Oh, gotcha. That would make sense. Yeah, that'd be a really good safe play. Just pull him back a little bit.
Yeah, one space to the left would have been a good spot, and he'd still have an attack down on either of those two back brutes.
Yeah. Oh, it's on Q10 though. There you go. You knew it was going to be Q10, so it's like, no, I can't move down now.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting because I'm assuming he put that order marker on Fraser, trying to decide when the hold ground button is going to be most helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, I don't think they have any unrevealed order markers, do they?
Nope. Yeah. So
Right.
they've lost the bonus. So yeah, that's tricky with these.
Timing is very tricky depending on whether you win or lose initiative.
Yeah.
It probably would have worked out great had he lost this initiative, but
Mm-hmm. And I think it was good kind of with the risk he was taking with the first two on the Imperium, because if the Imperium die, then he's got the +2 if he gets counterattacked. But then you've lost it for this last turn with Q10, which is huge. Well, actually, not as huge as it could have been.
Yeah, not great attacks from Q10 there.
But yeah, I'm the 20th are tough. I'm looking at this and like the 20th are tough just because they're so situational. I guess is the thing.
Yeah, I feel like they're a unit that's very hard to get their full value out of.
Mm-hmm. I mean, potentially 4 defense on a ranged squad, awesome. Potentially 4 attack. I mean, it's only melee, but you've got a ranged squad that can get 4 attack if they get engaged, also awesome. But you only get the defense buff part of the round, and you only get the attack bonus if you're fighting melee with a ranged squad. So
Yeah, I'm curious if they'd ever be worth it just as a screen, and you only ever put your X on them, other than developing them.
oh, that'd be interesting.
Like, so he's grabbing the healer glyph, which I don't know if it's necessary.
Yeah.
Like you're opening yourself up a little bit just for the potential of, a couple heighted attacks, which he was probably going to take anyway from the two in the center there, but he could have snuck back a bit to where the one on the left side of the map could get a shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I don't know if it was like a terrible decision. I probably wouldn't have gone with it. Just because I'd probably rather move back a little bit and keep shooting stuff. But I mean, also like having the healer glyph will be pretty nice.
Yeah.
But he might take all 3 wounds because he moved down.
Yeah, it's
But
possible.
he might not. But I don't know.
I don't know. So he should get 3 attacks of 3 down.
Mm-hmm. I guess that's the other thing I don't like. Muskie can move these two that would be generally pretty ineffective, but now you can just move them right here.
Correct. He can develop those. They're going to get good attacks. They're close enough. I'm curious if it's worth throwing the one that's on the high spot in the center down engaged to Q10 to try to limit where he can go next turn.
Oh,
I don't know. He might just take the disengage at that point.
right.
But if you can hold him there, then you have a potential for getting a 1/4 die attack if you can get around onto the ladder.
Yeah, which would be awesome.
But yeah, he's getting 3 good attacks here and 1 skull, no skulls. Like that's your best shot right there, and it just doesn't work out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Muskie's been making some plays.
Yeah, he's doing everything he can.
Mm-hmm. But the defense has just been, I mean, like, and this army just has solid defense all around. 4 defense on the brutes.
That's pretty tanky.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, I expected more to fall to the Imperium, but it's still pretty solid. Then you've got 5 defense for your robot.
Some good blocks there,
There we
though.
go. There we go.
Gets one.
20th main strutting their stuff.
Yeah, which now this really stinks because now you're not even getting any heighted attacks.
Right.
All you can do is take 2v5s. I think at this point you just don't even leave one where Q10 can attack, and you just take attacks on the brutes.
Mm-hmm.
Make them come out. I don't know if he has line of sight to that bottom one or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure
It's
either.
questionable. I'm curious if they discussed that on their last turn. If he does, I definitely would have moved that one.
Oh yeah, yeah. Just bring him up here to chill or something. But, all right, so it takes out one of the brutes.
I'm a little curious about the Fraser placement too, because if he had placed Fraser over in one of the center spots, he could have potentially gotten some engaged on Q10's last turn.
That's true, yeah.
When Q10 was down on to take the treasure glyph, if Fraser was more centered there, you could have engaged with one or maybe even gotten to that ladder. I'm not sure exactly how those were set up, but that could have helped things a little bit. I'm not sure the reason of putting them all the way over there.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if he was placing, because it did kind of seem like he was planning on going for Thorian. So I don't know. Maybe while placing, he's like, oh yeah, I'll use Thorian, and then I'm safe from Q10, and then he's like, oh shoot, Thorian doesn't actually help against Q10.
Yeah, I either that or maybe he was expecting the brutes to go for Thorian.
Oh, that's true
and
too.
So he wanted to be able to get the
if
the
he
move
placed
boosted.
first and then Stupendous is like, psych. But yeah, I mean, I agree, because if Fraser's here with that 6 space aura, that's just such a big part of the map that he's covering. And not that usually you're not thinking I'm gonna run in and engage with my, at least not on this map versus this army. You're not really thinking about engaging with your main, and so he was working fine for the Imperium.
Yeah,
but I mean, I don't know. I just like the options that putting him over here has.
Just gives you a little more flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
It makes the other person think about what you could do with it, even if you're not actively using it. Right now, he's just not even a factor.
Yeah.
Not something you have to worry about.
Got to get into your opponent's head. Get him thinking about what you could do.
That's why the Morrow Warriors are so good.
Mm-hmm.
And there's finally a wound through.
Yeah.
Or was that a brute?
That was a brute.
Ah.
Which, yeah, I think that's probably the correct choice right now, because the brutes are going to stay dead, and Q10's just going to heal.
Yeah, I wonder if I would have engaged those brutes. You could have had attacks.
True,
could have
even
had
with
4v4s instead of 3v5s.
Yeah.
If that's what you're worried about targeting.
I mean, even if you, this turn, say, or in a previous turn, move this guy up to here, and then you can just do, if you want to keep these spaces, you can still move that guy up to engage, and still have one 4v4.
Brian's got great initiative rolls.
Yeah.
That's where all his dice luck is going.
Hasn't even needed Fraser yet this game, I think. I think he's been winning by well enough. Oh, now he's going for Q10.
Yeah, I didn't pay attention to Luke's order. I'm assuming they're pretty Q10 heavy at this point.
Yeah, it's pure Q10. Now the best part of Heroscape, the good old shootout.
Just a bunch of dice going back and forth until something happens.
And something happened. Wow. Let's see, machine pistol. You could still reach this guy too.
Yeah, he wrist rocketed there though.
I didn't even look that closely at it.
The skulls look like machine pistol skulls.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just looking at. Skulls, not the total dice.
Yeah, and so now this one main, if he had developed him a little earlier, he would have had another heighted attack at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Said he's just one space too far away to get that 5.
Yeah, just one of those small things that I feel like don't come to mind too super often, but can be helpful there. Not that, I mean, I'll be honest. I don't know if having one extra guy right here right now would totally swing the game for Muskie, but
no,
it'd be actually, I don't know. So going into this, let's see, there were 5 brutes dropped from this army. Do you think for a reverse draft is that close enough, or would you have tried to push for more?
I might have bid down further. I mean, you were expecting a lot more from the Imperium.
Yeah.
Like they did reform, and so I think it definitely should have been closer, but taking the soldier army, you don't have anything that can consistently get through 4 and 5 defense.
Mm-hmm.
And 10 brutes is still a lot to go through.
Right.
And you're with only 2 squads of Imperium, and I think three of the main. Like Luke didn't have to kill that many before Coach was losing attacks and efficiency.
Right. Yeah, that definitely helped. I mean, yeah, those Imperium really just fell flat for him, and you'd usually think like, okay, I've dropped 5 brutes, but I mean, like you said, just being able to break through that enough, because even like Imperium, if you're going like Imperium into the brutes, you've got 6 attacks to 3 into a defense of 4, which is great on paper, but if you're positioning correctly, you're only killing like 2 or 3 anyway. And then
that was a nice move with Q10 there. I think a lot of people might not think they would probably just take their shots, but he pulled them down next to that one main to keep him from then, which it didn't matter because he killed them both anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But he pulled them down to keep him from. He tethered them basically.
Yeah, from moving back up to here or wherever. Yeah, no, that's a really good move. I think that's actually, as the GG is called by Coach Muskie, and I think fairly so. But just to follow that train of thought, that's definitely something that like I had to learn a lot to pay more attention to as a player, and I still overlook it a ton. But just like those end game decisions that can like really change where figures can go. Can like, if this is a closer game, if the brutes are dead and you've got like a 2-life Q10 versus the 2/20th, then that becomes a pretty game changing move where you can keep him from moving up.
Yeah, you generally don't think about tethering with a ranged hero.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very subtle but impactful move.
Yeah. Yeah, especially when you're like, oh, I've got a wrist rocket, I'll just shoot my rockets, hopefully kill him. I should kill him. But if it doesn't, it's a good way to prepare for the future, set up your contingencies. But yeah,
and we didn't even talk about the healer glyph hardly either. He never needed to use it.
Mm-hmm.
It's with the reverse draft, like it's really tough to estimate the value of a glyph.
Yeah.
Normal reverse draft, at least you have points to where you can think about, how far down you want to go, and the points might be still somewhat similar. And that doesn't mean everything, but like, how do you value a glyph really?
Hmm.
And some of the armies in this tournament, I thought like Veggie's Death Chaser with Jalgard was really interesting because it's almost always assured of taking Jalgard first turn with Battle Rush. And so like in this matchup, both players sort of have equal opportunities to take glyphs, but there's some armies where the glyph is almost built into the army.
Yeah. And some armies where like the glyph just ends up not mattering with the matchup, like Thorian here.
Yeah, Thorin, nothing here. And I mean that's a pretty powerful glyph normally.
Hmm. Oh yeah, usually you're there and you're like, oh man, Thorian, that's crazy talk, but throw a special attack in and all of a sudden it doesn't matter anymore. But yeah, I like this game though. This is a fun one, and I liked the reverse draft and the glyph aspects of it, even though the glyphs. I don't know. I feel like the glyphs came more into play by how they didn't come into play. I guess.
Yeah, in this game for sure. They definitely weren't as much of a factor.
Hmm. Like there was enough influence for them to matter, but also they didn't matter.
Yeah, 7 Life Q10 is definitely scary though.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Super scary. But yeah, I liked the game. I think both players did a good job. Captain Stupendous played stupendously, and Coach Muskie played like a coat, like he could coach Muskies how to play Heroscape. Got it, saved it.
He needs to
Uh,
coach his Imperium to roll better, to roll
he
more
does.
skulls.
He does. That was, I'll be honest, that was probably the main disappointment for me.
Yeah,
Just those Imperium, and I think part of it is because I don't know, I feel like in the online scene, especially the Fraser Imperium combo has been making waves. Not that they've been super OP or anything, but there's just been a lot of games I feel like that I've seen reports of where it's like, oh man, those Imperium were so fast, they were on top of me, and heck, I think there might have been another game. I don't know if it was this tournament or what. I don't know. I'm getting all my wires crossed, but I think there was a game where actually Fraser boosted Imperium did assassinate a Q10 or some other similar
it
hero.
did. I think that was a Super Frog game,
Oh, that
and
could be it.
almost. I think there was at least one, maybe two Valda glyphs on that map, so they were able to
Oh,
practically fly across the entire map in a single turn. And then they got a couple 3 skull rolls, and I don't even think they took all their attacks to kill Q10 in that game.
nice.
So
Yeah,
yeah, I
that's
mean they
right.
definitely their offensive potential is scary
Hmm.
just with that 3 defense on the other side. They're very sharky.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's one thing that I did like about this matchup is you did have a lot of that threat coming from this army, from the soldier army, but then a lot of the defense, and so you've got two very different army styles. And I mean, like, unfortunately for Muskie in this game, the defense for Q10, especially that first round of 6 attacks, just held out. Because I mean, if you've got a situation where I mean, like, even if Q10 takes 2-3 wounds there, then it becomes a different game because you can't bank on Q10 carrying as much for the rest of the game.
Yeah, he never really had to worry about losing order markers on him, or it's just whoever he could get more attacks with, depending on how close coach's figures were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, this is a fun one. I enjoyed it, and thanks so much for joining me for this one, Borimer.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was a good time.
Yeah, of course. I'd be super glad to have you on. I'm sure the viewers in the future will have enjoyed your insights as well. Yeah, I
Hopefully.
think I think you, now I think you brought a lot of good points to the commentary. So yeah, very happy to have you on.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's see. Before we sign off, is there anything that you would like to say, share, promote, etc.?
Um, well, first off, ScapeCon.
Oh yeah.
I think I don't know what it'll look like when this recording is released, but right now I think there's maybe 5 open spots left. I think attendance is being capped at 42. I think there's 37 people signed up right now. So don't wait. I think it'll be a great time. I'm super excited about it. I'm sure Bigga, you can link it in the description below if
Mm-hmm.
anybody doesn't know where to find the info on that. And then also the Peoria, Illinois monthlies. We're hosting monthly tournaments in Peoria. So if you're somewhere in the Midwest, we've had pretty good attendance so far. Shout out to Kelspa. Him and his son drove from St. Paul, Minnesota last weekend, about 6 hours.
Wow.
Came down. They were great to play with. Uh, Jack, his son, did really well. Went 4-1. Strong player. So it's good to see them. But yeah, if you're somewhere around the Midwest and can try to make it to one, let me know. I can try to accommodate you with maps and armies and scheduling if that's what you need. So
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Yeah, that like if you're definitely in that area, monthly events are super sick. They're a good time. So that's awesome that you guys are able to get that up and going. Especially at a time where live events are not as common. So,
yeah, yeah, and the Peoria scene is really strong too.
hmm
I
oh, you've got a lot of good players out there.
yeah, we were talking about it in the Discord a couple weeks ago, but in my opinion, I think it's the strongest uh, local scene between Veggie and his dad and the Ashes, um, and Kevin Dola.
Yeah, just a few names out there in Peoria.
Few decent
Just a
players.
few decent players. If just a few people who consistently win or at least place very highly in tournaments. So yeah, no, it's. I mean, I think that'd be an awesome scene to be a part of. So yeah, I'll have a link for that thread if you're listening to this and you're like, oh hey, actually I'm close to that and I didn't know about this. There'll be a link in the thread. Also, Escape Con, you can go spend 4 days. I think 4 days, 4 or 5 days,
Yeah,
just
four.
hanging out, playing Heroscape in a hotel with a hotel that's pretty much reserved just for Heroscape. So like doesn't get much better than that, right? So that'll be linked as well. That those are both really cool things to check out. So yeah, definitely have them in there. Thank you again, Boromir, for joining this, and thank you
Absolutely.
viewers. Thank you viewers always for viewing and all that good stuff. Always remember what a beautiful world it is that we live in, and this will be 10 points under and out.